What's up, family? I'm the guy that showcases and promote African-American businesses operating here in the greater Phoenix area. Please help me further support these amazing entrepreneurs by not only supporting my YouTube channel or following me on Facebook, but also stop by their businesses and give them a little economic support. My name is Shaka and this is African-American-Made. How you doing?
Less than highly favored.
Great. Thank you so much for this opportunity to talk to you. Heard about your studio about a year ago, and I've been chasing you down ever since. So thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you. Won't you give me your name and the name of your business?
Annette Yates, and I'm the owner of Studios at Sete.
Studio at Sete. And where do you hail from?
I'm from Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, Virginia, East Coaster.
Yes.
Okay, so what does Sete means?
Sete is actually my last name spelled backwards, Yates.
Wow.
Most people,
I didn't see that. I didn't catch that. That's amazing. Okay, so obviously I thought it was like, a name that was, meant something other than, a name, but that's cool.
I tell people, Sete, you can't forget me coming and going. Either Yates or Sete.
You see you coming and going, right?
Either Yates or Sete. Yes,
okay.
Right.
And what inspired you to get into, to have a studio for fitness and dance?
Well, after I got downsized, being here for 3 weeks and then working out at the Curves that was across the street from me, it closed 3 weeks later. And I initially just called to lay these people out for shutting it down on me because I loved it. I loved the process. And I ended up asking them questions and out of my mouth said, how much you want for it? It shocked me, so I'm sure it shocked them as well. And I ended up buying it, getting a good price for it because I negotiate well, and ran it for 5 years. I'd always told the clients there that after 5 years, because I knew it really wasn't a moneymaker, that I was going to end it in 5 years. So I did a countdown every year. So I ended up going to Dallas. A friend of mine that invited me there and found out about swing dance while I was there. Did not know it was a phenomenon, but it is. I saw those people being so happy dancing. I said, I'm bringing this back to Phoenix.
Okay. So you had a Curb franchise, and you did that for a while, and then there was a business turn there, and you parlayed your knowledge and what you learned from that into your own studio.
Correct.
That's amazing. Now, coming from Virginia, you haven't always been in the business you weren't in business prior to your ventures that you embarked on when you came to the Valley. What were you into back then, and what gave you the idea to even start this venture?
Well, I did 25 years as an IT professional at Blue Cross Blue Shield in Virginia. And as I saw them downsizing, all of my friends, I decided I was going to relocate here to Phoenix because my son had relocated first. We used to travel out here to see him. And my daughter relocated to go to ASU. So I'd already had a house built. She was living in it. Whenever we came from East Coast, we had an extra bedroom there. And that brought me, it was ironic because it brought me right in front of the Legacy, that's where I used to stay. That was the only place I knew in Phoenix. How in the world did I end up right next door to a fitness center that I loved?
Okay.
Curves.
It was meant to be.
I believe so.
So, how long have you had your studio now?
I have Curves 5 years. I've had this one 10 years.
10 years.
So Sete 10 years, yes.
So you've been in the business 10 years.
Yes.
So you have an amazing story that I read online. Prior to you, embarking on your life journey, you had a situation in your family where your father lost his job, and you had to go out on your own. And in that process, you helped your sister. Why don't you tell us that story a little bit about what happened with that? Because I thought it was an amazing story and a testament of who you are as a person.
My sister Priscilla is 3 years older, and she's the salutatorian of her class, and she got an opportunity to get scholarships to go to Virginia State University. And while my dad actually lost his job, and I was the youngest of 6, and he lost his job, so that the funding that would go to her for her to exist went away. And I watched as she suffered, and I graduated from high school, and by that time I couldn't afford to go to college. My family didn't have money. So I immediately, the day I graduated, I went to my mom and I said, I'm moving to Richmond, Virginia. We lived in a rural area at the time. I said, I'm 18 now, our personalities are too much alike. I've got to leave. I respect you enough to leave. And that embarked my journey of being on my own. She helped me find a room with a friend of hers, and I stayed in that room, and I found myself a job, learned my way around Richmond. And when I did find my job, I sent my money to my sister so she could initially just eat, okay, to have money for food at Virginia State College. So I helped her actually fund what she was doing so she could get out of college. And that's why I went to work directly to help Priscilla out. But also, my brother was in Vietnam. He's older than her, and he had left his car at home. My mom was driving it, and she didn't put oil in it. I took it out that night to go out to a dance, and the engine blew on me. So I'm a person, I don't like to owe anybody anything. So I actually was paying him back, paying for my room, and taking care of my sister at the same time. So, and even that, I had my best friend. I kept calling back home to see how she was doing. She never found a job. I said, pack your stuff, I'm coming to get you. By that time, I bought myself a car. I went and got her. She and I stayed in that one bedroom until we could afford to leave. And that's how we got started in giving back. Okay, so one of our classmates' 2 sisters had moved to Richmond. They were living in an apartment. One got married, and then one called us. So we moved to the apartment with her. She got married. We reached back to another of my classmates' sister that's 2 years younger, and we brought her to Richmond. So that giving and all that comes from my community in King and Queen County when we went to Central High School. So we looked out for each other, and we were the village in Virginia.
That's amazing. Bring back memories of the community that I came up in. So that's amazing for you to be selfless like that and to think of others and contribute to your sister's success and pay your brother back for that car. So you had a life in Virginia. You were there for a long time. You raised your family, and you eventually came out here to the Valley, started this amazing business. What type of services do you offer here at Cité?
At Cité, we offer space rental, total space rental for everything. We started off as a dance studio. We added fitness, and now we have added events. So basically, every year, our business model is upgraded to add additional services because I really have not been making a lot of money, but I love what I do. I love being able to offer people this opportunity, but I had to figure out a way not to have employees. After going to a couple business classes before I left Virginia, I came with a mindset. I don't want to own a business because I don't want employees. Because I found out from the professor, the last thing he said is if you decide you're going to be an entrepreneur, you are going to have to pay to actually recruit the employees, pay the employees, put insurance on them, and the last thing he said, they will call in sick on you. And I said, I am not interested in owning a business. So I knew owning that Curbs that was next door for me when I was working out for 3 weeks and it was going to shut down, that I knew God put me there for a reason. He put me somewhere where I only knew because I used to stay at the Legacy when I used to come out here to visit my children, and right there in front of the Legacy and next door to the Curbs. When I went to that Curbs, I loved it. I loved the process and everything, but I was shattered when they told me they were going to shut down in 7 days. I was livid. So I got their phone number, called them, and I really just called them to lay them out. I ended up asking the question that I did not ask, because I knew it was God-driven, because I said, how much you want for it? I looked around, I said, I didn't say that. But I looked.
It had already came out of your
It
mouth.
already came out of my mouth. So I looked up in the sky and I said, God, it had to be you. So I said, you know what? You got my back. I live right next door. I love systems and I love people. I'm going to go with this. Totally forgot it was 2009 and housing crash.
Yeah, that was a bad time.
Yeah, didn't even think about it. I
Yeah.
was so driven that I was going to make it work some kind of way. Started off with that curves and ended up within the 5 years that I had to run that, shutting it down and created my own dance studio.
Now, because of your foray into the Curves franchise, you learned how to operate that type of business and the in and outs of that. How did you develop the classes that you wanted to initially showcase in your studio? I know you do rentals, but you also facilitated classes as well. Let's talk about those for a little bit.
Okay, so I rent space for people who teach classes, okay? I also rent space for people who offer events and for people to do rehearsals and for choreographers that rehearse for their clients. So it started to build up over time. When I first started the dance studio, I didn't know anybody here that did dance. So it was suggested by one of the choreographers that was using my studio that I go after the dancers at the NBA and NFL. So I found my way through there. I got those folks to come in. The key for them was they knew how to dance, but they didn't know how to teach dance. So I watched the choreographers myself as they were teaching classes. So as I started renting space to people that had the skill sets, but they didn't know how to run a business, my whole goal was for them to come in and run their own business. And that way, they're paying me, and I'm not paying employees. That will walk out on me and leave me high and dry. Okay.
It's the separation anxiety.
Yeah, separation anxiety. But one of the biggest things that I was grateful for when the pandemic hit is that I didn't have employees. It would have torn my heart to have to shut down like we did, and these people didn't have their income.
Yeah.
So I feel real good about the fact that they pay me instead of me having to pay them, because therefore I can control what I spend. But because I still have my retirement from being retired, but a lot of my money from there did go into this business. And like I said, I love it. I love what I do, and I love the fact that I'm making such an impact in South Phoenix. And people know and trust Sister Tay. They know and trust Annette Yates. And they know when they talk to me on the phone, they say, I have to come meet you because I love your personality.
Well, you definitely have a dynamic personality. I was drawn the first time we actually spoke on the phone. So what are some of those classes and business partners that you worked with over the years? What type of classes were they offering?
Started off with swing dance because I saw that happen in Dallas, and I saw the expression people had on their faces when they were swing dancing. That's how I got the idea, okay? And started with swing dance. Then I met all these people that did Chicago stepping here in Arizona.
Big stepper community here.
Yes. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I like the way it looked, but I'm not a stepper.
Yeah.
I'm a freestyler. So bottom line is, I met all these people, and having my own business, even with the curves, I didn't have to go out and find a lot of people. People came to me.
What was your marketing strategy? You said people came to you. What was your marketing strategy early on with trying to solicit your service or your space?
I had props right away for being the first black curves owner, and the informant sent out someone to interview me. Okay. And that sort of kind of awakened a lot of attention because people didn't know who I was. But also, in doing this and getting to meet the people and whatever, I've always had an outgoing personality, and I use that as a marketing tool. My whole goal in life, and it's succeeding, is when you meet me, you walk away smiling, or you walk away and learn something from me. And when I meet people, I make sure that they have that similar kind of personality. I only want upbeat people here that will keep their clients happy, okay? And that's major for me.
That makes sense. Have you ever had an experience with someone that came in, a renter, that was unpleasant?
I sure have, several times. And my philosophy in life is, okay, if I've got to give you bad news, I compliment you first. So what happens with that is if I've got clients, I try to work with them, give them discount prices when they don't have enough clients and stuff. I don't try to charge them what I charge, most people that have full classes to work with them. But I offer a service that most dance studios do not offer. I offer technology, and I offer a fact of helping you market your classes. I know all the apps coming from my career. I use all the apps. I have a website. I have a newsletter. So I try to uphold you as much as I can. But if you provide me with the data, I will push it out for you. Okay? I'm not going to beg you for it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So it has to be a partnership. So I've found that several people here want me to market for them, but they weren't doing it themselves. So I'd have to talk to them about it. I said, I really like this part of your class. I like what you do and so. But what can we do to work on you now, helping me with that marketing more, okay? And what they can say is, I don't think I can do it. And they decide to leave. I don't ask them to leave. I make it as comfortable as possible, but they decide to leave.
So you think they have a build it as they come mentality, that they don't have to cultivate and build and grow, particularly in the social media and the electronic arena, as you spoke of a minute ago?
I think the mentality is, some of these instructors come from the big boxes, the big gyms, whatever. They're used to the gyms having memberships and bringing the people in, and they just do the class.
I understand.
And they'll pay them $15 an hour. Okay, now they want to branch out, and they had the assumption that those people were going to come with them. Yeah. Okay, this is what I ran to from the beginning, is they thought they had such a strong, I guess, aura in their classes of like 100 people, that some of them would just follow them here. Okay, they didn't have to do any marketing because they weren't used to doing it. So when that didn't work out, that's when I kind of saw the writing on the wall that they didn't know social media, or they didn't hire somebody to work with them or whatever for social media. So just send me what you have, and I will do what I can to get it out. But and I tried to get them to also.
But it's not a package.
No.
It's something that you are investing in because you're doing business with them.
It's not extra. No,
right. Yeah.
It comes with.
But they take advantage of that.
Yes, and expectation is for me to bring in, and I'm finding even when they're on social media, they are even not even pushing out the flyers that I create for them. They're not even pushing out their businesses. I'm doing all the work, and so I'm very people oriented, and I want to make sure that when you walk away, if you ever want to come back, that I make it so that you have made your decision to leave.
I see.
Okay.
I see. Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you have to, but you're still going to have to pay your rent here, because I have to pay my rent.
I mean, well, you're going from basically being an employee somewhere to being a self-employed person.
Yes.
This is a totally different arena. It's
Yes.
a totally different world.
Yes.
There are things that you have to think about.
Most definitely.
I have similar experience in what I do, so I totally identify with what you're talking
Yes.
about.
But I've been here 15 years now, and I feel like I've made an impact in South Phoenix, and I'm not finished yet, because like I said, everything has an expiration date as far as I'm concerned. Okay, I do plan to either sell it by next November, or have somebody do something, bottom line, but I'm moving on to other things. And we can talk
that's
about
a good
those.
segue for what I was going to ask you. Like, how did you settle on South Phoenix, and how did you build that community in South Phoenix aside from the business? Because from what I noticed in your social media and what have you, is that you have a robust community supporting you. How did you cultivate that?
I knew nothing about South Phoenix, never heard of it before. My ask for my realtor was, I need to be somewhere 10 minutes away from the airport, and my daughter is at ASU, 10 minutes away from ASU. I ended up in South Phoenix.
Okay.
I knew nothing about it, even when I first got here, because I'm in the area they call South Mountain, and then part of it's called South Phoenix. So I gather all of it together, and I say, and I'm in South Mountain, South Phoenix, okay? But I didn't know until I was talking to someone, and they told me that South Phoenix had a negative reputation. And I'm like, right now maybe, but when I finish, it won't. So so when I started at Curves, like I said, it was not too multicultural at first, but as people started getting the word about the fact that I owned it, my Curves became the most multicultural one in Arizona.
Now that's contributed to your clientele from the Curves situation you had.
Yes.
So you were able to bring some of those clients into Sate.
Yes. Some people been with me for the whole 15 years I've been here.
That's
and
wonderful.
That's the class that you were asking me about my classes. I have senior classes, I have youth classes, and these are people that are renting space from me. They have all types of classes here. We have salsa, we have line dance, 2 different kind of line dance, and one of the line dance classes we have is a youth hip-hop line dance class.
Okay.
I started that with the instructor. She and I just started that a couple of months ago. And youth ages 8 to 15, we are looking to diversify this line dance hip-hop class with all cultures and all nationalities and all sexes. So we want some guys, we want girls, whatever. So right now, we are a travel team. We're actually doing events all around South Phoenix.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And so we're getting those kids off of the street, and they're learning, and the goal is for them that are the teenagers to actually learn how to instruct and teach these classes when they are later in high school and in college. They, instead of working at the fast foods, they can be teaching classes at a studio.
Oh, that would be great.
And bringing their friends off the street as well.
That sounds
So that was the whole goal.
Absolutely. So you mentioned that all things must come to an end. You have aspirations to move on beyond Sate at some point. Where do you see your aspirations going within the next 3 to 5 years? Yeah.
All right. My future initiatives are to actually work with our Futures Now 501c3. And that is to bring attention to the seniors that are actually taking care of their grandchildren. I have 12 grandchildren. I have 4 here, I have 3 in Houston, and I have 5 in New Orleans area. I can come and go as I please. I can run this business, I can travel, I can do whatever I want to, because my 3 children take care of their families. And my assumption was, when I saw grandparents bringing in their grandchildren for the youth classes here at Sate, that the parents were working and the grandparents were filling in. I did not realize until I started to get to know the grandparents that the children are actually living with them, because their parents are incarcerated. They just can't take care of them for mental reasons or other issues, opioids and things like that. So I said, that is really not fair. I can do what I want to do. I said, so my question was, how can I help them? So that's what I did the 501c3 for, to try to bring attention, first of all. We should be showering these grandparents with love because of what they're sacrificing. Yes. I haven't heard anybody doing that.
Yes.
And so in doing that, I want to work with corporations, anybody that's philanthropic, and whoever that wants to help uplift these grandparents to make them understand, we care about you. You are doing a great service to keep those kids out of the DES system and to show them the love that they need. But we all know teenagers. These parents have sacrificed their funds, they've sacrificed their leisure, their time. I can do anything I want to do.
Yeah.
They cannot.
So what type of services do you look to offer to these seniors?
The first idea was to partner my 501c3 with studios at Sate, to be able to get funding that they can come to any class, any event here, and it be paid for. They don't have to pay any money. The biggest thing I've ran into is I want them to know they're not alone. There are other people that are in the same situation, and they could possibly have quarterly meetings or monthly meetings, as a support group to actually pass along best practices and travel together, just on outings, even with the grandkids and without the grandkids. But one of the other things I want the grandkids to understand is they need to be praising and thanking their grandparents for stepping in. I don't think they really realize what they've sacrificed.
Yes.
Because teenagers, when they get a certain age, they turn into some different creatures.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So for them to be educated as well, to appreciate their grandparents. So I want to have some mental psychologists come in, okay? We're talking about psychologists, we're talking about fitness, we're talking about just being upbeat, being able to feel good about what you're doing. The ladies that are in my fitness classes use insurance to pay for their classes. The insurance only pays $3 a person. Mm-hmm. So, but you got to make sure you have enough people to make sure it's worth the client. But they've been with me. These people came from my curves. Mm-hmm. I'm not charging them anything. Mm-hmm. They I get the $3 that the companies pay. That's it. But a lot of these people, grandparents, don't have that kind of insurance.
Yes, absolutely.
So they need support financially to come and take the classes. So one of my members has been with me. She is a great grandmother that's taking care of her great grandchild.
Oh,
she
wow.
actually took care of her grandchild first, and then he got into trouble with the mother, whatever, and she's now been taking care of Adam for the since he was little, and he is now, she said he's now 10 or 11, I think.
So the poor woman has not had a break. She's raised her children, some grandchildren, and now she's on the great-grandchildren.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
But one thing about her is you saw her when you came in today.
Oh, okay.
She is turning 80 years old.
Yeah, wonderful lady.
Yes,
Lovely lady.
yes. And you see she's in very good shape.
Yes.
So she's been using her insurance, coming in here, on and off for years. Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes, yes.
So you have a lot of plans and you've done a lot of things. And it's obvious your impact on the community is tremendous. Tell me about some of the hurdles that you may have, aside from the 2008-9 debacle that happened in our economy. What other challenges have you had to face in, keeping the studio going, or, balancing it with home life or personal life? Have you experienced any challenges along that line?
The biggest challenges are financial, okay? Like you said, keeping it going. But I was in a lucrative career, so I had retirement and I got downsized. So I was able to keep it going without borrowing any money from anybody. And that drew off of my money, I understand that. But I was in it. I loved what I was doing.
Yes.
And I was doing anything I need to do to keep it.
And you made an investment.
Right, I made an investment. My investment actually in people.
Yeah.
Okay, so the financial
wonderful.
side is, okay, you just use what you have to do.
Yes.
Right? So basically, when the pandemic hit, okay, we had to shut down, we had to come back and shut down, whatever. I lost a lot of people, okay, because first of all, they were afraid to come back, okay? But out of that, I had to, for the first time, apply for assistance as far as grants and funds, and I had to get a loan. It broke my heart to get an SBA loan. The biggest challenge I've had, and I hate to say this, but it was human. The contractor that I had ran out on me.
Oh no.
Took my money and ran out on me. The area we're sitting in right now was supposed to be, how they have rooms in hotels, how you can open the doors up and close them. He said he had ordered the doors and they were coming in from Montana, $7,000. I never got the doors.
Oh,
So
no.
that's why I had to leave this wide open like this and just charge by the number of people that use the studio. But I did not let that stop me. I used up all those funds and I had to hire people that charged me double because it was the last minute. I had a group of 125 people coming for a talent show, the 4th of November. He knew I had to be out by December. I had to grab all my stuff from next door, shove it in here, and hide it behind doors. And I still had the girl that was in here, she left a lot of her stuff here. So I had to cover all that up and actually do that. When I give my word, I keep my word. I don't care how much it costs me. I was looking around for other studios. I was going to pay them myself. This girl was coming from California. I could not allow her not to have that party. She had already invited all these people. So I shoved the stuff and covered it up and everything, and I had, this floor cost me $10,000 put down.
Oh,
and then,
man.
yes, but it was last minute.
Yeah.
And that's one of that Angie's List or whatever. I had to get to whoever was free to do it.
Yeah.
They squares me in. As I said, well, okay, I got to pay what I got to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
I got the guy that did the painting. Okay, I had him on one side of the room, people putting the floor down on the other side. Then they switched.
Wow.
Yes, I got it done. I got it done.
That is amazing.
Yeah, because she came in, I apologized. I said, I'm sorry it's not finished yet. She said, Annette, we're here. We're going to make the best of it.
Oh, man.
When I walked out, so the last thing we did was the ceiling, because he was changing electricity and stuff, was wide open. Okay, and they had all these holes up in it. I ran to Home Depot, my friend Bill and I got those things up in that ceiling real quick. We walked out the door, and it was supposed to start at 9:30. 9:15, we walked out the door, all these headlights. People were sitting on my parking lot.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, but you know what?
Talk about 11th hour.
Yes.
Wow.
You talking about me walking out the door, still on headlights? I'm like, look at God. So the last project that I have is working with several other vendors that have been here with me a long time, and I want to help uplift them in their products. So my new business model has added another level this year, that we're going to be the Satay preferred vendors. We're going to be offering an opportunity for the community to come in for free, test our products, see my space. I'll be doing space rental and making sure that I have DJ, I have bartender, I have a caterer, I have a videographer, I have all different types of people that are going to be here on the 4th of November from 6 to 8, and it's going to be an open house.
Okay.
Come in, and I want the people that come in to rate us and give us suggestions, if they have them, of how we can improve our businesses.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Well, anything that I can do to be assistance to you or contribute to your growth and wonderful things that you have going on in the future, you know, I roll my sleeve up. And thank you so much for this opportunity. How can we find you?
Studios, the @ Satay. And remember, Satay is Yates spelled backwards.
All right. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. This has been so
Thank
delightful
you.
to talk to you.
Thank you.
For 1 year, and I got you, so thank you so much.
Look, it was well worth the wait.
It was definitely worth the wait, definitely. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.